Hey guys, so this is just a simple little experiment that we've got, and we've got a simple spinner here. And this is an experiment that if we were to spin that spinner, we would have outcomes. So each time you'd hit an outcome. So an outcome might be that when you spin that spinner, you'd end on a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 4. So you can see from this, we've got how many outcomes? Well, it could land on a 1, so that's 1 outcome. It could land on a 2, that's 2 outcomes. We could land on a 3, that's 3 outcomes. And you've got 4, so there's 4 outcomes that this could land on. Now, let's think about what the best chances of it are. So if you were to bet the house in the car, would you say it's going to end on a 1, a 2, 3, or 4? Well, there are 2 ones. So there are 2, so you've got 2 in 6 chance of it landing on a 1, or you've got a 2 in 6 chance of it landing on a 4. You've got a 1 in 6 chance of it landing on a 2 and a 1 in 6 chance of it landing on a 3. So let's look at our questions over here. What is the probability of it landing on a 3? Well, there is only one 3, all right? There is one 3, and there are 6 different sections of our spinner. So really, you've got a 1 in 6, okay? So you've got a 1 in 6. I know it says 4 there, you've got a 1 in 4 chance. However, because you've only got 1, it's 1 in 6. So what is the probability of your spinner landing on a 1? Well, this is where we change things slightly. We have a 2 in 6. Now we know that when we simplify fractions, we can also say, I've got a 1 in 3 chance, or 1 in 3. And we can write these as fractions too. In fact, I'd encourage you to. You've got a 1 in 6 chance, or you have a 1 in 3 chance of it landing on that there. What is the probability of the spinner landing on a 2? Well, again, the chance of it landing on a 2 is the same as the 3, so we've got a 1 in 6 chance. And that's just simplified, a 1 in 3 chance, okay? Now, let's go back down at the bottom here. It says, what is the probability of the spinner landing on the red? How many outcomes do I have? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 outcomes. However, there are 2 reds. Okay, so there are 2 reds. So really, to spin that spinner, at the end of the day, I really have 3 outcomes. So what is the probability of the spinner landing on the red? Well, I've got a 2 in 4, or it's a 1 in 2. Now I know what you're saying. You said to me, Mr. O, before you said to me that I've got 3 outcomes, and now you're saying 4. Well, what I'm saying is, yes, you've got 3 different outcomes, but there are 4 sections of it landing on there. And we want to make sure that if you were to spin that spinner, half of that spinner is red. So half of that spinner is red. So really, you've got a 50% chance of it landing on red. Okay? That's how that, so there's half of them are red. What is the probability of the spinner landing on the orange? Well, only one quadrant is of that orange, and that is a 1 in 4 chance, all right? Or if we're going to write it as a fraction, 1/4, or we'd say 1/2 up there. What was the probability of the spinner landing on a primary color? So a primary color, so red, blue, orange. These are all primary colors. So you've got a 100% chance, certain, that you are going to land on a primary color. So you would say, I've got a 4 in 4 chance, or you would say certain. And we use a vocabulary when we're talking about probability. All right, on with the next one. Okay, very quickly, we're going to talk about an experiment that has just happened. We've just had Jack, he's rolled that dice 10 times. I've even made a little illustration there for you. And it says here, I've even done a tally down the bottom. So he's rolled a 1 twice, he's rolled a 2 once, 3 times, 4 3 times, 5 once, and he didn't roll a 6 there. This is a great experiment. Grab a dice, have a go. And this is about representing your results in a tally and something easily for you to read. So you might create a graph or do something like that. Now, remember, if we've got a dice, we've got 6 different outcomes, and each has an even chance of rolling that outcome. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6. Okay, now you can see in this experiment, Jack didn't roll that 6 once. Now, let's have a look down the very bottom. It says, I want you guys to have a go at yourselves. You might like to get a dice and have a go at doing your own, telling your own results. And let's see if your results are different to mine. And then having a bit of a go. You can see the first experiment, Jack's whispered into his dice. Maybe you might like to give it a go without that. But have a go and see how you go with your results. I'm going to show you how we can represent those results as percentages in the next slide. So again, we've got our results on this page. Your results might be different here, but what we're going to do is we're going to show our results as fractions, decimals, and percentages. So we rolled it 10 times. It's pretty easy to turn these into fractions. It's pretty easy for decimals and percentages as well. So for a 1, 2 of 10 times did he hit that 1. So did he roll a 1? So we're going to go 2 in 10. In how many times did he roll a 2? Well, that was 1 in 10. How many times did I roll a 3? Well, that's 3 in 10. 4, he rolled 3 times. That's 3 in 10. 5, 1 in 10. Now, if you add up each one of those, it would equal 10. So, no 6s for him there, unfortunately. So then we've got, once we've got our fraction, it's nice and easy to turn that into a decimal. So we're looking at a decimal, and when I talk about decimals, we like to turn that into money or cents. So straight away, I've got 20 cents. The 10 is the dollar, and the 2 is the 20 cents. That's how we look at it. So if you're unsure of decimals, have a look at my decimals split video. So we're at 0.2, and we're just going to throw a 0 after there. You don't have to, you can put 0.2. I like to put the 0 there because I like to teach, we use decimals using the idea of cents to a dollar. Okay, 1 is 0.1, 3 is 0.30, we'll put those zeros afterwards there. 0.3 again is 0.30, 1.0, Mr. O. We're going to go 0.10, and we're going to go 0 over there. We didn't get a 6 at all. And then we're going to go to percentages. Now that we've got that decimal, it's nice and easy for percentages. 20% of the time, he rolled a 1. 10% of the time, he rolled a 2. 30% of the time, he rolled a 3. 30% of the time, he rolled a 4. And then 1%, or sorry, 10%, he rolled a 1. And then, unfortunately, 0% of the time. And if we were to add 20 plus 10 is 30, plus 30 is 60, plus 30 is 90, plus 10 is 100. We're now at 100%, and that's what you want to do when you're talking about 100%, okay? Why don't you have a go at trying to turn your experiment and your outcomes into your own chart with your fractions, decimals, and percentages, and put your tally there as well, okay? All right, excellent, good job. So the final part of this video is to look at our understanding and to see where we are using that Mazzano self-assessment scale. So we're one of the 4 areas down below. I'm going to go through those with you very quickly now. So beginning is that we really don't understand the task. We're still unsure, and we may need to re-watch that video again. And the next stage is our developing. So we've learnt it, we understand parts of it, but there are still questions that need to go. We've still got questions before we get to that better understanding. So the next one is our competent. This means that we understand it quite well. We can work independently, but there is still, and we can problem solve by ourselves. But there may not be some. There may be some areas that we're still struggling with. And finally, we're at that proficient stage. This means that we understand it very, very well. We're getting most of our questions correct. And we could actually hold our own masterclass that we could actually teach other people how to do this concept as well. Okay, very important that we look at our Mazzano self-assessment. Whereabouts are we in relation to our understanding?